Hello, I'm Kay Stepkin, the founder of the Vegan Museum. We're presently located at the Cary Grove Adventist Fellowship in Fox River Grove, Illinois. Adventists are longtime advocates of a healthy vegetarian diet, and the museum is very grateful to Pastor Gabriel for welcoming us to his church for an extended stay. We have the good fortune today to learn about vegan cooking from Jill Kebb. Jill is a certified Food for Life instructor who holds classes and retreats on both weight loss and disease prevention. You can check out her website at www.vegangal.com. I have worked with Jill for a number of years now and always look forward to her informative, unique, and entertaining presentations. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much. Okay, I don't think I need that one. I've got my own. Oh my gosh. So I'm making some really exciting and wonderful recipes today. These are recipes that I eat weekly, if not every other week. And they're sometimes what I call essential recipes, meaning I really think these are key, wonderful, exciting recipes. So I'm going to get the first one started right away before I start telling you a little bit about my story. And what I'm going to make for you is an eat everyday cheesy sauce. This is one that I made yesterday, and it firmed up a little bit overnight. So when I make it today, I will blend it. It'll be like more of a creamy cheesy sauce. But you can see that when it refrigerates, it gets a little more solid, and then you can warm it up to make it all thin and put it on potatoes and dip it in chips and add salsa to it and all sorts of different ways to use that cheesy sauce. Some of you might have heard of Jill McKeever did a cheesy sauce with oats and roasted red peppers in the Vitamix, and that is another great simple cheesy sauce. So if you don't have that recipe, you can also email me or Google search for that Game Changer cheesy sauce it's called. But this one is so easy, and I'm even making it easier today than, you can cook your potatoes and carrots. It's basically what this recipe is, cooked potatoes and carrots. And so today we're going to do, you don't even have to peel, you don't even have to chop. How simple is that? I'm going to add a little bit of water to my Instant Pot. If some of you out there have an Instant Pot, these are great. They are kind of like a crock pot and a pressure cooker together. And so they're really nice to have. I'm going to do the manual setting. Let's see, where's my manual setting? Manual. It starts at 30, and so I'm just going to go down, down, down. I don't use a lot of the other buttons here, and I'm going to do 3 minutes. Believe it or not, 3 minutes is all we need. It's probably not going to start till I put the lid on, but just going to put a little bit of water in there, probably just a couple cups. Throw in my carrots, and I'm going to put in this entire bag of shredded potatoes. So I know in the recipe, I didn't say use a bag of shredded potatoes, but for the ease of this recipe today, hey, no peeling, no chopping. It is very easy. Okay, now with the Instant Pot, you've got to make sure that your little valve over here is set to sealing, because there's a venting and there's a sealing. So once that's done, and I think we're all set, it's on, and I already pressed, did I press okay, it should be on. I pressed the 2 minutes, so I guess it remembered. Hey, that's cool. If you haven't used hash browns like I have used hash browns, I gotta just tell you a minute that these are a great time saver. And this hash browns just basically has, besides the potatoes, a chemical to help preserve the freshness so it doesn't brown. But if you put frozen hash browns on like a cookie sheet with parchment paper, it's going to brown up for you in just 20 minutes. You do like 425 degrees for 20 minutes. Go take your shower, and you'll come back to like a nice hash brown. So again, with the parchment paper, you don't even need oil, and you can eat it with ketchup, barbecue sauce, or just salt and pepper. You can also add hash browns to your soups or your stews. So I really find potatoes are a great way for you to, add more of this comfort, wonderful bulk of your diet is going to be based on potatoes and oats and different grains and legumes, beans, peas, and lentils, and rices. So that's where my diet is really based on, those items. And everybody loves potatoes. So we will possibly talk more about potatoes as we go along. All right, so the potatoes are going, and I want to tell you a little bit about, I'm going to tell you a story, a little bit of a story. So back in, when was this, 1989, I was a young, newly engaged person, and my then first husband and I went to premarital counseling. And one of the things that they wanted us to do was write on a sheet of paper, what is your goal for this marriage, or what is your life goal in this marriage? And he was very quick to say that happiness was the goal. And, you know, wanted me to get right on board with that happiness is the goal idea. So, you know, as long as I'm happy, as long as, you know, he's happy and we're happy, everything will be good, right? Well, there was a little bit of part of me that just questioned that as a life goal at the time. Okay, fast forward to 10 years later, and at this point, I'm a young mother with 2 small children, and feeling pretty miserable about my weight, feeling pretty sad about the diets that I've been on, roller coasters of dieting, up and down with the dieting for all my life. In fact, I would just say for sure, sugar and fat has been my biggest problem throughout my life. I hear people tell me, I have a sugar addiction, yeah, sugar. But really, if you're not addicted to popsicles and hard candies, it's really a sugar-fat problem. Or sometimes people have a salt and fat problem. But fat is usually in there in the problem. Anyway, I was sick and tired of this, and a colleague of my then husband came to stay with us, and she was older than I was. She was older than I was, and she was trimmer than I was, and she had all this energy, and she was just bouncing around our house. And for a couple of weeks, they were working on a project, and I wanted to know what her secret was. So she took me to some bookstores, and we had gotten books that were, it really opened my eyes. They weren't about dieting. They were about health. They were about the environment. I read Diet for a New America by John Robbins, Fit for Life by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond, Fast Food Nation, so many other books. But it was definitely a eureka moment to learn about all the environmental destruction and the consequences of eating animals. So a lot of things were running around in my head at that time. And you know, one of the things that was running around in my head was, what kind of planet am I leaving my children? What about my children's children and all this, the rainforest, the water quality? Also, was I willing to kill the animal that was going to end up on my plate? So many things were going through my head, and I just want to tell you, I made a decision, and it was the best decision of my life. And that's the way decisions can be made, you know, in just one moment, you can make a decision. And so I decided I was going to call myself a vegetarian, and it was really scary. Let me tell you, I was definitely nervous about this because remember, I did not think I had any willpower around food. So it was very, very scary. And then over the next 20 years, I've had a 2-step forward, 1-step back process with this food thing. And it continues to be a progressive journey for me that I'm always excited about. That decision was the best decision of my life because it's always grounded me, and I've always had it. And I've had this progress, not perfection, with it. So today, in my mid-50s, I still have more of a stable weight, and good things happened to me at that time too. I lost 30 pounds almost right away. My skin cleared up with acne. I had hives. I would get headaches. There were just a lot of different things. Sinus infections is probably the biggest. I would, clogged, going through boxes of tissues every year, antibiotics. I haven't had a sinus infection in like 30 years, so knock on wood. So good things happened to me, and my mood probably did stabilize from getting, cutting some things out. I also learned from Dr. Dean Ornish, who was a pioneer in a lot of this study in showing that we can reverse the clogged arteries and those things clear up. But he talked about that you can make a better change by making a bigger change. Like, it will stay with you longer. So imagine if you're going to go from cigarettes and a whole pack a day, and you want to quit, and you're going to go down to 2 cigarettes a day. Well, you can see how that might creep you back up to smoking cigarettes again. Whereas if you just really cut cold turkey, it's going to be easier for you in the long run to just give up something that you really wanted to give up anyway. So that's also something to take into consideration. Making a big decision really can help you, and cutting things back. Now, how does all this relate back to that goal of happiness that I was telling you about? I have to take a little bit of a breath here, but I really believe that when I think about that sacrifice I made to my own temporary comforts was really heading me down towards a more spiritual growth path. And I was wanting to get outside of myself to do the right thing. I was wanting to do it for the sake of the animals, for the sake of the planet, mostly for the sake of the environment at the time. Also for my health, but like me, myself, I wasn't enough almost to make that decision. Like, I had to go to a bigger purpose. And choosing to be happy, or, all of life's yummies and things, the comforts in the moments, I think it's better to make that commitment to do the right thing. And what would God want me to do? Your love source, your higher power. I really feel that this is a spiritual journey that I've had with food that I wanted to share with you, because I want you to know that there's good things that happen beyond your health when you do this. This has been my experience. And also, just to have that happiness be happiness as a goal is a little bit sad when you think about it, because it really doesn't work. It's a little bit unrealistic because we can't always be happy. So I wanted to tell you something funny too. Here's how God works in my life too. I wrote this about a week ago, and I'm reading this book called Love Warrior by Glennon Doyle. I don't know if you've seen this book, but here's what I read just yesterday, and I just wanted to read you this one passage. Most of the messages we receive every day are from people selling easy buttons. Marketers need us to believe that our pain is a mistake that can be solved with their product. So they ask, feel lonely, feel sad, life hard? Well, that's certainly not because life can be lonely and sad and hard. Of course, that's hard for everyone. No, it's because you don't have this toy, these jeans, this hair, these countertops, this ice cream, this booze, this woman. Fix your hot loneliness with this. We consume and we consume, but it never works, because you can never get enough of what you don't need. The world tells us a story about our hot loneliness so that we'll buy their easy buttons forever. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. Life hurts and it's hard, not because you're doing it wrong, but because it hurts for everybody. Don't avoid the pain. You need it. It's meant for you. Be still with it. Let it come. Let it go. Let it leave you with the fuel you'll burn to get your work done on this earth. So I'm going to start making another recipe now, and I also want to mention all the wonderful foods that I eat that you would enjoy if you're already not on this path. Cauliflower Alfredo, banana and ice cream, vegan ranch dressing, stuffed potatoes, mashed potatoes, sweet potato chili, spinach enchiladas, quinoa crackers, apple crisp, brownie bites made with dates, frosting made with avocado, grain bowls, curries, ramen noodles, jambalaya, lentil sloppy joes. I could talk all day long about the exciting foods that I enjoy these days. So let's move on to another dish that we're going to start. And I've got, let's do the pickled red onions. All right, I'm going to just move this over here. So this is something that I think is I discovered, look at that beautiful color. I just think this is a really fun jar to have in your refrigerator, and it's very, very simple. You just need a little bit of boiling water and slice a garlic clove. I've got a red onion here. I like to slice them in the half moons. Okay, I'll get that. Thank you, Kay. If you do it in these half moon slices, you're gonna be able to pull it out of the jar a little bit easier with the fork. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get the boiling water in there, or at least hot water. So I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup of hot water. This is a nice toy, by the way. This is a Cuisinart kettle, which has all these little different temperature gauges. So if you come to my retreat in South Haven, Michigan, by the way, if you're not going to have coffee in the morning, you can have tea, and you can set your tea at oolong or different temperatures, so it's kind of nice. All right, so I need a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. And I'm not sure where my sugar went, but, oh, here it is. I've got it right here. Okay. So the hot water just dissolves your salt and your sugar, and I'm putting in a little bit of peppercorns, and see, it's very, very easy. If you don't like, there's so many different sugars you can use too now. I just bought monk fruit, and then I'm gonna throw in a couple garlic cloves, and that's it. We'll just, oh, I need my vinegar. That's right, not just water. We need a little vinegar too. But the hot water is going to dissolve the sugar and the salt. Now, this looks really pretty on anything Mexican. I mean, it's got that nice zing to it. It's got those nice probiotics from having something that's fermenting a little bit with that vinegar. You know, it's just really good for your gut. I'm not going to slice the other half of the onion, but you can imagine. There you go. And see how fast that was? This can be kept in your refrigerator for weeks, and sometimes I'll even add more onions to it. You can add shallots, and you can add other things besides the peppercorns and the garlic. So maybe you have cumin seeds, or other different herbs or spices that you would like to add. Anything a little bit more spicy if you want to give it more of a zing. And there you go. One thing I like to add it to salads too, and this is also a good topper for your baked potato with your cheesy sauce and your salsa, and then you've got your pickled red onions, and it's great. It's already, thank you so much. So, my history did not dictate my future, and if you're not on any kind of a path towards wellness, don't worry about what happened in the past, but we can do better when we know what the science says. And the science has evolved to where this is overwhelmingly the best diet. For sure, this is the course for me, and I know where I'm going. I'd love for you to be on this path. I'm saying again, this is an invitation for you to get more intentional about this way of life if you've even considered it. And if you've seen any of the documentaries out there right now, there's so many great documentaries that you can refer your friends to, or you can watch again to get remotivated. We have Forks Over Knives, What the Health, The Game Changers, and then I think one of the best ones is Eating You Alive. I was gonna try to find out where to get Eating You Alive before I came here, but I ordered their DVD through their website. So if you Google Eating You Alive, you will see they are really amazing. And even though I've been a vegan gal for over 20 years, the better terminology to describe the dietary lifestyle that really works is something that was termed by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who wrote the China study. It's whole food, plant-based. So probably most of you listening have heard of that, but if you haven't, the book is based on the largest comprehensive study of nutrition that's ever been conducted, and it was over 20 years in the making. This study, they created 367 variables in 65 counties in China, 6,500 adults involved, and when they were done, they had 8,000 statistically significant associations between lifestyle, diet, and disease variables. So Dr. Campbell says that in multiple peer-reviewed animal studies, researchers discovered that they could actually turn the growth of cancer cells on and off by raising and lowering doses of casein, which is the main protein found in cow's milk. It's kind of good stuff to know, and most Americans have no idea, just no idea, and that's very sad. Anyway, if you don't want to read all 400 pages of the China study, perhaps you can trust that these 4 words sum up what I believe is really the solution, which is whole foods, plant-based. What that means is you're going to really want to eliminate or very much minimize processed oils too. And that's something that, certainly I wasn't on my radar when I first started, but again, change can be as gradual or as quick as, you want. But regardless of the label that we choose to adopt, a plant-exclusive way of eating is really going to nourish the soil. It's going to reduce the emissions from agriculture, reduce the carbon output, and the burden of chronic disease in our communities. So there's just so many good reasons to be looking at this. All right, another recipe. Okay, let's do that one. Yes. All right, so this is one of my favorite things ever. And my biggest concern in coming here today was getting the bananas here frozen. So I don't think it worked out perfectly because they definitely look a little bit better when I'm taking them directly out of my freezer than they're going to look for you right now, because I traveled here from Michigan. I'm in Illinois right now, so they had a little bit of a travel time. But when your bananas get to where, this is almost like too ripe, right around here is a good time to peel your bananas. And I also like this little gadget I got at Target, I believe. It's a banana slicer, and it's really cute. So I wanted to show you. Also kind of learned that you get less strings if you peel your bananas from the bottom. This is the way the monkeys do it. If you ever are at a zoo and you watch the monkeys, they peel from the bottom. And then the banana peeler just makes these perfect, I'll just let them fall on my, but they just make these perfect little even slices. So I put them in a baggie in my freezer. And then my most favorite banana and ice cream has been strawberry. But I've made it in a lot of other different ways as well. One of my other favorite recipes besides strawberry, which I'm going to make in a second, but it would be black cherry and a chocolate plant milk. So whatever kind of plant milk you like, almond, oat, soy, rice, hemp, whatever. But if you already get the chocolate milk that way, or if you add cocoa or cacao to your black cherry mix, it's delicious. Another alternative to this would be to do frozen mango and your frozen bananas. And then I like to do lime zest, lime juice, and then maybe top it with a little bit of this Mexican caliente, whatever. This is a little bit of a spicy sweet topping, and maybe like some spicy cashews, like Trader Joe's has some Thai cashews that are a little bit spicy. A little bit of oil, but anyway. And then also these you gotta love sometimes a little Enjoy Life chocolate, no dairy. These are good little chocolate chips. I like them too because they're so tiny. And then I roasted a little bit of almonds here in the oven just for 8 minutes at 350. You can roast your nuts for different toppings and things like that. And we have a little bit of pecan. Okay, so I think the trick is I like the food processor for this banana and ice cream. I mean, I have a Vitamix, and I'm sure you can do it in here. But a couple people told me they liked the food processor better, and when I really started doing it every day, I really also agree with that. I don't know why. Maybe it's the cleanup, or maybe it's because sometimes you need a little bit of to open it and have a little bit of separation. Having the slices, having your fruit already kind of in smaller pieces and the bananas in these uniform small slices does kind of help. So let me get this out. Okay, so there's only 4 ingredients to this recipe, but I think one of the tricks is just to kind of do eyeball about even amounts of fruit to whatever fruit you're using to bananas. Again, this is not the way my bananas really normally look at home. They stay pretty frozen. but I would say they're a little more thawed than what they are at home. Okay, but let me use this. That's good, that's about halfway. And then I like to get these going first, and then add a little bit of pure maple syrup and a little bit of plant milk. Okay, so it's interesting because I think when it's more frozen, you can get it a little bit more pebbly looking. These bananas are a little bit melty. All right, but that's fine anyway. So while that's going, I can pour a little bit of pure maple syrup in. Now, I don't measure. You can that was probably 1.5 tablespoons. And you could see with that food processor action, I can kind of break it up with that pulse. I mean, I do really, I like that. So this is looking pretty good. The other thing you can do to your banana and ice cream is add a nut butter. You can add just a little bit of nut butter right here, right now, and blend it all in. And that will kind of add something to it. And I'm going to put this in a little bit of a bowl. But you see how fast that came together? I make this, at least once or twice a week now, probably. And I like sang a banana and ice cream song one time. I don't know. I'm just all over this banana and ice cream thing. It's just like so creamy, delicious. Wait, let me move this. So I don't know if we're showing how. It's really like soft serve, and you can also freeze it. And then when you take it out of the freezer, it needs a few, like 5 to 10 minutes to. My dear friend and colleague is here, and I think she's done that where I can't even wait to eat it till the next day. I'm just like, we'll eat a big bowl of this. And what is to feel guilty about here? Zero. This is so exciting. Put a little bit of chocolate chips, put a little bit of pecans, put a little bit of almonds. You can even do a little bit of strawberry jam. Oops, went crazy over there. Isn't that pretty? It's so, so good. So I hope all of you watching, if any of you are watching, are going to eat this banana and ice cream once in a while, and maybe put it into your routine and see how versatile you can make it, how you can make it your own, how you can do different variations on this. Okay. This is really strange, like just talking to, usually in my cooking classes, I have people that I'm looking at, but I am doing this a little differently. We are having fun. We are doing new things. We are stepping outside of our comfort zone. So it's all good stuff. Also, this is a bread that I made. Just wanted to show you that. I don't need the paper plate, but anyway, when you would be coming to a retreat potentially in South Haven, Michigan, where Kathy and I run the retreats, and we could teach you how to make this bread. It's so easy. It is just very, very simple, and anyone can do it. Anyone. And the retreats are right in South Haven, Michigan. We have a beautiful lighthouse. We're on the big Lake Michigan, so beautiful sandy beach, walkable to town. And in 6 days' time, you really can get to see some numbers dropping if you have diabetes, or to feel lighter, even see some inches or some pounds come off, because we've seen that happen. So it's pretty exciting. 6 days gives you a good example of time. We're always happy to also talk to you on the phone or email if you have questions about anything. It's just, I feel like it's my calling to help you plan your dinner. So just call on me whenever. Okay, let's do Jolie's garbanzo beans. This is one of those things that Mary McDougall told me about many, many years ago. I spoke at one of their advanced study weekends when my daughter was a baby, and it was really a wonderful honor to be with the McDougalls. They are amazing people. John and Mary McDougall have a great website, and I really love the Starch Solution as a book that really explains why basing your diet on potatoes and rice and corn and beans, and then you have the vegetables and the fruits around, and that's, you know, it makes this diet very easy. I mean, more easy than thinking that, you know, people think they're going to just eat salad. No, that is not the case. In fact, I think at our retreat we had salad one day, and that was it. We did not have salad. Okay, so I just emptied a can of garbanzo beans. This is the world's most favorite bean, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but it is. It's a delicious bean, and what we're also finding out is that the aquafaba is really a miracle, in my opinion. There's so many wonderful things. I can't really. Oh, you know what? I'll pour it into something. There we go. It's just the juice from the cooking liquid. So if you make it in your Instant Pot, you will have this lovely liquid, and you can use this in salad dressings. You can use this to make meringue. I just think this is really cool that you can make desserts and use it in baking and kind of, or as an oil replacer. There's a lot of nice things that you can do with this aquafaba. And people just keep experimenting with the plant world, and we're coming up with all these cool things and cool ways to do things. So. All right, so Mary McDougall said this, you know, when you are just feeling like you want to eat something, but you don't even know what to eat, and you're hungry, open a can of garbanzo beans and eat garbanzo beans. You can just eat them with your fingers, eat them with the spoon. But my daughter, Jolie, and I, we like to put a little lime juice and some cumin, or lime juice and some curry powder. So there we go. Just sprinkle it on. And I have both here, cumin and curry powder. There's a few people here. Which would they rather try? The lime juice really makes it very fresh. I'll just do a little bit of cumin. And of course, I don't have my sprinkles on because I take off that plastic ring a lot of times that has the little holes in it, because I usually end up going in there for more than just a sprinkle of something. You just want to make sure that your seasonings smell good. They should have a nice smell that you're like, oh yeah, that smells like curry, that smells like cumin. By the way, curry is a combination of a lot of different herbs and seasonings. So it's not one thing. So anyway, when you buy curry powder, it could be a different recipe depending on the brand of curry that you're buying. So anyway, that's just a little side note. So there it is. I would probably add a little bit of salt to this, but if you're going salt-free, the lime juice, you can even zest the lime and have that wonderful fresh flavor. And this just makes a refreshing, fast food snack, or even a lunch. Add something to it. The other thing you can do is take your garbanzo beans and put them on a parchment in the oven and with some seasonings and make. They get a little crunchy that way with the seasonings and the salt. So this is another good use for garbanzo beans. They are just really a very versatile, a wonderful legume and bean. And you can also put this in your blender, your food processor, or your blender, and make a dip out of it. So there you have your other use. So isn't it exciting? You can just do so much stuff. And Trader Joe's has these nice crackers that have no oil. So you make your quick bean dip. You can use any beans, by the way. And then you can have those brown rice crackers too. Brown rice crackers are delicious and also fat-free. Okay. So thank you, Kay. Thank you for helping me out over here. All right. If you haven't even thought about this before, of just, you're still eating the standard American diet, you're watching this and you're like, wow, this is interesting. Some people don't even sort of put two and two together, because we've all been brainwashed. Most of us, if you're my age or older, we have been brainwashed by the American Dairy Association or whatever, because they infiltrated the school systems and pretty much just fed us lies, really. So if you're at home, here's a couple questions that you might want to raise your hand if your mother is a cow. Okay, raise your hand if you think ingesting hormones or cholesterol from an animal would be good for you. Raise your hand if you can jump on the back of an animal and rip into its hide with your big fangs and your claws. All right. Raise your hand if you believe that humans are mostly related to primates. Did you know that primates in the wild, yeah, we are. Primates, and this veg museum is probably has a lot of wonderful information like that. We are definitely most related to primates, and they, in the wild, eat over 90% young baby leaves and fresh fruit. So they're a little bit more particular about what their plant-based things. But and did you know, if you ask yourself, like, where did the cow or the pig or the chicken get their protein from anyway? Yeah. And where's the monetary incentive for our wellness? So I always say there's no money in broccoli. And it would be interesting if we had any kind of concept in the America, like what they had in ancient Chinese medicine, where your doctor got paid while your family was healthy and well. But as soon as a family member got sick, the doctor would stop getting paid. And so the incentive really was there for them to run out to your house and see what was going on and try to get that family member healthy as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I don't think we incentivize very well here. I had a poster. Gabriel, you could put that up if you have it handy. I have a poster hanging in my house, and it's an advertisement from the 1940s of a doctor who is saying, you know, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. So doctors used to prescribe cigarettes to their patients for anxiety. And it's an interesting concept. Dr. Michael Greger of nutritionfacts.org, he's awesome, and you can follow him at nutritionfacts.org. But he said we had to get to like 7,000 studies before our government finally said, yeah, cigarettes are bad. I mean, why do we have to wait till 7,000? Like, why couldn't 6,000 have been enough? You know, you know, do you get cohesive messages from the government? I am not going to just wait for someone else to tell me how to be healthy. I'm really taking the bull by the horns here to really follow the brilliant minds like Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Michael Greger and Dr. Neil Barnard and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn and T. Colin Campbell. Really, the plants have everything we need. The fiber, the beautiful colors, and your taste buds will change. They really do. And it's really fun because I crave healthier things now, whereas I did not crave them in the beginning, but I certainly have evolved to do that. All right, so we're gonna do, thank you, we'll do another recipe now, and this is just called the 3-2-1 recipe, the 3-2-1 salad dressing, or 3-2-1-1. And I'm using a lot more these days these little snack packs of applesauce. Don't you love them? I mean, they are, for kids or whatever, they are convenient, but I'm kind of lazy in the kitchen sometimes. I don't make anything that requires like a ton of work unless once in a while I feel like doing that. But on a general basis, I like to make easy recipes that are easy for people to put together. And these applesauces are convenient. And what's neat about using this as an oil replacer in salad dressings is it really helps everything stick. I mean, this is one that I probably made a week and a half ago or whatever, and we don't have that separation of oil and vinegar or whatever like you might see with an oil-based dressing. So the 3-2-1 is basically just 3 tablespoons of a good quality balsamic, and I bought these little yogurt jars at a garage sale. They're cute. I like the little jar craze. I'm kind of into those now. They look pretty in my fridge. Ooh. And you want to get a nice quality balsamic. As you can see, this one I'm using here is kind of sticking to the insides of the glass. It is, I just need a little bit, just move that over, thank you. And it's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. You can almost just like, yum. It's like almost good, just almost by itself. In fact, that would have tasted good on the ice cream. Someone should be eating that ice cream. We don't want that to go to waste. So there you go. Come on, dig in over there. Okay, so we have 3 tablespoons of the balsamic, and then we're going to do I think it's 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup then, and 1 of the Dijon. Is that right? Is anyone looking at the, yeah, 2 tablespoons. Oh, 2 of Dijon. All right, I was wrong. All right, so, all right. Sorry, I gotta find a spoon that will go, oh, there we go, that's a little bit better. Well, not really. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna guesstimate and we're gonna wing it. So, got a couple, we're gonna wing a couple tablespoons of Dijon there. And then pure maple syrup. This is also a great sweetener to have. I mean, pure maple syrup is a whole food and it is plant-based, so it qualifies. And I don't, try not to overuse it, but for a sweetener, it's very nice. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I usually top my banana and ice cream with a little more of the pure maple syrup, just for a little extra sweetness on top and kind of like mix it around. And by the way, I didn't blend that as long as I might have blended it at home, you gals who are eating it, but it's delicious. Because I think it's the half strawberry, half banana ratio that kind of works. So, all right. I think I probably have mixed this up in a larger jar than this now I'm seeing, but if you did a larger jar, it'd be a little bit easier to shake it up. And I like to shake up recipes and things and mix up the seasonings. I wanted to talk to you a second about seasonings. So pretend like I did that in a bigger jar, and voila, you have your salad dressing. And a jar this size will fit nicely into your purse when you have to go to a restaurant and you don't want to be beholden to the very oily foods that they will be serving you. You're going to try to have them use less oil, but you can also stay safe by bringing your own. This is another thing I keep in my fridge. It's flaxseed and water. And flax is great with the omegas. So adding just a little bit of flax, my friend Evie calls this flax egg, and she'll put it in her dressings. By the way, since I'm mentioning my friend Evie, who might be watching, she is 79 years young and she hasn't had oil in 7 years. And she walks and she's like always so active, and so she is just, it's wonderful to have inspiring friends. And you can also find people like that on YouTube that help inspire you as to what you're gonna eat and what they're making, what they're doing, what they're eating. Because sometimes that's really what helps us. And I'm hoping that you will also want to be someone as a good example for another person, because we need more people in the world to be this good example. Again, I am inviting you to be a good example and to just get on this path with us. We just need a loving army here. So these seasonings, you can get all sorts of mixed seasonings, and I just like this Vegetarian Express. They do a saucy ranch that I use a lot. This is an all-purpose veggie seasoning blend. But it's nice to just have a decent amount of some seasoning blends so that you don't really have to think too hard, or if you don't want to follow the recipe where you're making something Mexican and you have a Mexican blend, sometimes that just makes it easier. All right. So I wanted to also mention that I'm a little bit more interested in some of the reasons why people don't do this, because the science is really here. The science is really pointing us in the right direction, and it's pretty overwhelming. Dr. Doug Lisle wrote a book called The Pleasure Trap, and he talks about that we are kind of hardwired to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. And those 3 things kind of get us into a bad loop where we can just really kill ourselves with things that we don't mean or intend to. If you think about Elvis Presley, for example, he uses him as an example. All the money and the fame did not, help that man, live long. So if you don't have all the science and you don't feel like the science is really there for you, maybe revisit one of those documentaries that I mentioned, or if you kind of get it, but you're still kind of brainwashed, try to get past that part quickly by revisiting the science, because we were all very much infiltrated with lies in America when we were little, unfortunately. And then there's a lot of people that just don't want to give up on their comforts. They just don't want to, and they're a little bit threatened. They might feel some guilt or some shame that, they see you taking better care of yourself, and that upsets them somehow on some level or whatever. But, do not worry about that. Just, we hope that people don't have to get into a health crisis before that they're faced with maybe making a new change. But I'm very grateful to God and helping me through this journey, and I really needed my faith to help me along. So I'm also, throwing a word out there that that faith has really helped a lot, and remembering to ask for help and finding some people that I appreciate who would be on this journey with me is really great. You can reach me at Vegan Gal Jill on Instagram, or Jill at Vegan Gal if you want to email me. My website is under construction right now, so it doesn't look so great, but we do have these retreats that Kathy and I really love to run, and we are excited about the results that people see. Okay, so the next recipe, what haven't I done? I think I'm just over now to do the cheesy, finish up the cheesy sauce, and we are done with it. I mean, the Instant Pot did its work. So let's see. Okay, so here's the point where the Instant Pot is, it's just almost burned myself. The Instant Pot little valve didn't go down, so I can do a manual release, which means I hit that thing and then the steam is going to come out for a little bit. So it might be loud. Let me just give me a second to see what else I did not tell you about. Let me bring this over here. This, thank you, Kay. Again, here's what the cheesy sauce, look at that beautiful color. It's definitely amazing how you can turn potatoes and carrots and a few other ingredients into a wonderful sauce. So you could probably put that recipe up in a minute. It's the Nutritional, if they want to see it, but they have the recipes and if you don't have the recipes, you're watching and you don't have the recipes, just email me, jill@vegangal.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at vegangaljill. This, the Eat Everyday Cheesy Sauce. The nutritional yeast is really the key ingredient to this recipe. That's okay. I'll tell you what the ingredients are. I mean, this is very simple recipe. It is potatoes, carrots, and then nooch, which we lovingly refer to as nutritional yeast, or nooch for short. This makes everything taste and smell like cheese. So when I make microwave popcorn, I'll spray a little Bragg's and sprinkle a little cheese and chili powder, and then you've got like chili cheese microwave popcorn. It's very good. And then we have a little bit of lemon juice, fresh, or if you want a time saver, you can get them in these little things. Salt and granulated garlic, and ume plum vinegar. This is just a nice little, if you can get this in an Asian market, it adds a little bit of a zing to the recipe. All right, and we are getting close to an hour, so let me see what happens with that. Okay, it's not too loud, but it's going to take a second, and then the valve is going to go down, and then you can release the lid. So I want to say that another thing that helped me was when Dr. Michael Clapper, he did a video called Diet for a New America way back, and talked about animal muscle is animal muscle. Whether the animal walked or swam or flew, it's animal muscle. I mean, let's get real about the words that we are using. We're calling something M-E-A-T, meat, but you're eating a dead animal muscle, and in that muscle you have the hormones and the cholesterol, which you cannot cut out. It's just a very waxy substance that clogs your arteries. So if we're being a little bit more intentional about what we're defining that cheese, instead, if you think of it as concentrated baby cow fluid, concentrated bovine fluids, maybe if you say something like that to yourself, you might eat it less, because it's kind of like made for the baby cow, right? Okay. I love that little way the Instant Pot makes a noise. Okay. So I'm going to just, I should have brought my pot holders. I do have a towel here. I am not sure you guys need to see me do this because literally it's going to be blending the carrots and the potatoes in the Vitamix with a little bit of the cooking water and then the seasonings that are in the recipe. Again, if you don't have the recipe, but I mean, I'm close to it, so.
What recipe is this?
This is still the Eat Everyday Cheesy Sauce. So, all right, let's go for it. I think it's, you have to imagine, I'd be doing this a little bit better in my kitchen, or you would be doing it better in your kitchen, right? Okay. And you know, you can get the potatoes cooked any way you need to get something cooked, on the stovetop, in the oven, in a steamer basket. There's all different ways to skin a cat. Just get some potatoes and carrots cooked, and this recipe will come together very easily in a blender. You probably can use a hand blender as well in the Instant Pot itself. I think I did that before. Okay, so we'll go here. I'm just not even going to measure right now because I'm guesstimating, which is something that I do. But I'm actually not going to put this in till the end. And the reason is that this can be a little taxing on your machine because it's just like the potatoes are, you know, kind of like heavy. And so you could add a little bit of the cooking water to thin it out, but it is going to take the machine a minute. Okay, as you can hear, that was like, it's running your machine pretty intensely. But look at, already we have this lovely color and this lovely sauce. So I didn't add all the spices perfectly, and I still need to add this. But you can do that and mess with it at home, and it's going to come out really good for you, and you're going to use it, and you're going to love it. And I want to say a couple things and then just wrap up. One of the things that has really changed my world too is to have a big salad. I use potatoes. I'll cook potatoes, make potatoes, and then I'll shake up salads like in a big bowl like this big. But the potatoes or leftover rice is really what's good to kind of stick to your bones. And I've had people tell me that's a really good idea to get some greens in, is just make a big salad, but keep your potatoes in here or your rice or some leftover grains or your beans and shake it up to get your ranch dressing or your Catalina dressing or your 3-2-1-1 dressing, and then you can just eat a big bowl and get your greens in. You can also think of ways to make this lifestyle easier for you by perhaps making like Monday like Italian night, and Tuesday Mexican night, and Wednesday's potato theme night. Maybe Thursday is your ethnic Thai, Japanese, Chinese night. And you know, how are you going to buy this food? How are you going to how are you going to avoid some of the pitfalls when you go eat out or go to people's homes? And how are you going to bring God in this journey with you? And how are you going to make it fun? Hope that those are things that you're thinking about. And I just want to lastly say that it's a courageous decision to be a whole food plant-based person. It's a courageous decision that you can make. And I want to say that we really need you on this journey. So please join us. Get past the science part and the brainwashing as quickly as you can, because we really want and we really need you on this journey. Clean out your pantry, make a plan, find a person or people, ask God to help, because we want and need you on this journey. Believe that every sacrifice of your temporary comfort will further empower your progress to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and we want and we need you on this journey. As much as you can, one day at a time, eat this food. And be open to be the powerful example that I know you can be. And we want and we need you on this journey. Thank you so much. I'm Jill Keb, vegangal.com. Take care, everybody.
All right, now we're going to do a Q&A with Jill.
Okay.
We had a couple questions for our streaming audience. One of the first ones is, are there any tips for some of us folks who are on a tight budget and are interested in eating more plant-based?
I love that question about a tight budget. Wow. Tips would be to really open your mind to the fact that if you are eating from a simple perspective, rice and grains and oats and potatoes and beans, you will be saving money. You will be. So when you cook your potatoes, make a little extra. When you cook your, when you cook your, when you do some cooking, you just make some extra so that you have some in the fridge. And then you will have spent pennies. If for example, the ice cream we made probably cost $1. The cheesy sauce, so cheap. I mean, $1. Let's see, how much are the hash browns? Maybe $1.30. The carrots, I use half a bag. Okay, $2. $2 plus a little bit of nutritional yeast and a very small. Anyway, so you can see that and this is going to last you, by the way. And so this is the most inexpensive way you can eat. I didn't even talk about that, but I can definitely eat like on, $60 a week, feeding even 2 people sometimes, or 60 to 80, depending on where you live and what's in your pantry. So.
Thank you so much. So you mentioned the banana gadget that you got from Target.
Uh-huh.
What are some other fun kitchen gadgets that you find yourself using around your kitchen?
Oh gosh, I'm a big fan of kitchen gadgets. I really do like kitchen gadgets a whole lot. This is one of my favorites. It's just like a flexible spatula. I love my Pampered Chef can opener. It's a different way to open cans, but if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. You never want to get a regular can opener again. I use my apple slicer all the time. I bought a bag of pears, so I use my apple slicer for my pears and my apples, and I eat apple quite often. So that's a gadget I keep handy. I like my avocado saver too. It's like when you use just a half the avocado, there's this little fun gadget that has a room for the pit, and you just kind of. It's cute. So that's another one. There's a lot of.
All right, and we have a question from Roland. How do you handle family at the holidays? So maybe people are coming in with different expectations, different dietary preferences.
Interestingly enough, wherever I go, people eat what I bring. And they always are saying, it's all about the flavor. So yeah, it's all about the flavor and using seasonings and herbs to make things good. And my husband and we came up with this great one for this Thanksgiving, and I'll tell you what it is. It's like so easy. And I didn't even know what I was going to make that day, but I was making sweet potatoes in the oven. I had like a smaller sweet potatoes, and then I'm like, okay, I have some leftover brown rice because it's good to have leftovers in the fridge. I'm going to make fried rice. So you need like cold rice to make fried rice, and so I did like green onions, peas, carrots, a little bit of corn, cilantro, and I made a nice like an Asian, peanut butter, soy sauce or tamari, ginger, a lot of fresh ginger. Anyway, I made a nice rice wine vinegar, made a nice little sauce, tossed it with my rice, and then it was my husband's idea. He made little wells in the sweet potatoes, like cut them in half, and we stuffed the fried rice, very colorful, in these little sweet potatoes that are now beautiful on a platter, easy to pick up for an appetizer or your holiday meal. So, yeah, there's so many good things to bring to family.
Perfect. All right. Do you have any parting words for us for the? Oh, I'm sorry. We have another question that just popped in the nick of time.
Okay.
All right. What plant-based dishes have become a tradition for your family during these holidays?
There's a pumpkin pie that my friend and chef Luann Bermeo from Amazing Meals 1 and 2, she's on Facebook, Amazing Meals 1 and 2, look her up on Facebook. She has done the most beautiful pumpkin pie with like a sugary pecan topping. So it is really to die for. I really like to make that at the holidays. A little more indulgent, but it's so good.
Oh, that sounds so delicious. All right. Well, that's all from our audience. So thank you so much for answering their questions.
Thank you guys. Don't give up. Stick on this plan. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So you'll get there.